You gotta follow their orders, follow their strict guidelines. You gotta follow whatever they tell you to stay in place. This is the very same place that we've been enslaved. Let me get this real quick. This is the book of Exodus chapter 20 and verse 2. This is the book of Exodus chapter 20 and verse 2. Hey, brother, did you know nigger was in the Bible? Want me to show you? This is the book of Exodus chapter 20 and verse 2. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. So when we look at Egypt, Egypt is bondage. So this place that we're living in, believe it or not, whether you perceive it or not, this is spiritual Egypt. Even if you look at the back of a dollar bill, why do they have a pyramid there? Now, yes, a pyramid could have all kind of symbolism, but at the same time, you got to understand the white man's zeal for Egypt. Look at the Ptolemaic kingdom, the kingdom of Ptolemy. Ptolemy went all the way through Egypt and ripped it up and destroyed it, and now they're all throughout Egypt. Look at Cleopatra, white bitch in Egypt. A lot of people don't realize this shit. Y'all gotta understand that a lot of the times what you may perceive it to be is not actually what it is. That's exactly why I come out here and I let my people know that you may have doubts about the Bible, you may not believe the Bible, you may not follow the Bible, but the Bible is not what you perceive it to be at the end of the day. But let's go back. Jeremiah chapter 23, and we read 7 and 8. Therefore, behold, the days come, said the Lord, that they shall no more say, the Lord liveth, which brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt, but the Lord liveth, which brought up and which led the seed of the house of Israel out of the north country, and from all countries whither I have driven them, and they shall dwell in their lands. They shall dwell in their lands. Eventually, the time is going to come and we're going to actually go back to our homeland. We're going to go back to our homeland. We're going to go back to where we actually came from. This country that actually soaks in fucking blood, this country that soaks in our blood, this place is going to be destroyed. We're going to go back home, whether we like it or not. Because a lot of us, we love it here. I get to do whatever I want to, even though I get shot down in the streets, even though I get looked at as a nigga, even though I get looked at as shit. I love it here. That's the problem with our people. But let me get Matthew chapter 7 and verse 21. Not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven. Many will say in that day that the Lord have not wept and prophesied in thy name, and in thy name have cast out devils, and in thy name done many wonderful works. Then I will profess unto them. So some people are going to come to Christ and say, Christ, I followed you, I practiced you, I love you, I did all these things in your name. But there's one thing that we find ourselves necessarily looking over and not necessarily adhering to whenever it comes to him. A lot of us will follow religion. We'll go to church, give all of our fucking money, just for our people to realize that this shit ain't really for us. Hey, bro, you believe in the Bible? Yeah. You do? Yeah. All right, cool. So whenever it comes to the Bible, how did Christ say we actually get to the kingdom?
Through ourselves, within.
Can I show you? Let me show you Christ's words. There's the book of Matthew, chapter 19 and verse 16. Let me show you.
You know, it's so funny that I'm right here. I'm right here because I was just talking to myself. I was like, the only way to grow is to live outside of myself.
What you mean?
Live within, but see everything as I'm doing it myself.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, hold on. Okay.
Gay ass nigga in there?
No. I just saw some ass everywhere.
Yeah. It's crazy in there.
But yeah, like I've been living as though, you know what I'm saying, outside of myself, like not being aware of me expressing my own consciousness, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I don't know how to explain that shit. Like I've been unaware of it was me doing whatever I'm doing the whole time. Like me sitting here talking to you, I know that I'm talking to
Yeah.
But I've been living the opposite way, which make it harder to communicate with myself, if that makes sense. Like,
in a sense, finding yourself within.
yes.
I feel you. Let me show you something real quick. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 19 and verse 16. And behold, one came and said unto him, Good master, what good thing shall I do that I may have eternal life? I don't know about you, but my main goal is to actually follow Christ and actually try to actually get to the kingdom. A lot of people, they'll find themselves following religions and following all kinds of ideology like Christianity or Islam, or trying to partake in Judaism. We're trying to find all these routes and all these ways to actually find our God and get to our God, so that we can actually have some kind of reassurance within ourselves. But at the end of the day, we don't open the book and actually read it for ourselves. We'll go to church and we'll believe everything that they'll tell us, and we won't ask no questions.
Right.
We won't ask no questions. We won't ask them to show me in the Bible where it says this or where it says that, so that we can actually know what we're talking about.
Right.
But this is what Christ says. And this is, I want you to tell me, if you was to go to church, and I say you do go to church, but if you was to go to church, I want you to let me know if they would actually be teaching that Christ would say this. And he said unto him, Why callest thou me good? There is none good but one, that is God. But if thou wilt enter into life, keep the commandments. The commandments
that Christ gave.
Keep the commandments that we got by the hand of Moses, that actually Christ came to reassure, that he came to solidify. Because a lot of people at that time, we think we had Pharisees and we had Sadducees that was just strictly about the law, and they didn't necessarily believe on Christ like that.
Right.
But it goes hand in hand. If you read Romans, let me show you Romans 3 and 31. Because I'm not saying don't believe on Christ. There's a book of Romans chapter 3 and verse 31. Do we make void then the law through faith? Is the law of none effect if we have faith? Like, do we not worry about the law if we just have faith? God forbid. Yea, we establish the law. Whenever it comes to the law, statutes, and commandments, we're not able to keep all of them, but we have to keep them to the best of our ability, because us having faith in Christ is what actually makes us whole. You ever heard that before? I know you haven't. Because they don't teach that. They don't teach that at all.
But you said, could we still follow the law with faith? Like, do we have to follow the law if we have faith?
Let me show you. Do we make void then the law through faith? It's pretty much saying, do we stop worrying about the law since we have faith?
That's a good question.
No. God forbid. No. That's really hell no. God forbid. Yea, we establish the law. We establish the law by having faith in this man that actually came here and died for us. Only us. Only us, not everybody. Christians may say he died for everybody and everybody. That's just people trying to take a certain culture and a certain people's customs and appropriate it to themselves. Christ never came for everybody. He never said he came for everybody. It's actually the complete opposite. Want me to show you?
Yeah.
There's the book of Matthew, chapter 15. There's the book of Matthew, chapter 15 and verse 24. Matthew 15 and 24. But he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. He only came for the Israelites that was spread abroad who didn't know that they was Israelites.
Okay, so we are the Israelites.
Yes, we are.
Black people.
Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. How do we know this? Because of the curses. For example, let me show you. There's curses that would apply to us, and curses that would affect us throughout our generations and throughout our life to help us understand who we are to this very day. Because I know you're probably looking at the Bible like, man, that shit's a long time ago, bro. How do I know today? How do I know today that I'm actually, one of them?
Right.
There's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28. 28. And I want you to, whenever I read these curses to you, I want you to tell me who do these curses apply to that you can see now. There's the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and do all his commandments which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. if we actually keep the commandments, he'll set us on high above all people. From 1 all the way to 15 is a list of blessings that we would get if we actually keep the commandments. But from 15 all the way to 68 is a list of curses that's gonna be on us forever until we actually come back to him. Start at 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. So he's right here, he's telling us, if you do not do what I tell you to do, then I'm going to place curses on you, because the Father chastises us like a father would chastise his children.
So what is a curse?
A curse is something that plagues your people that you cannot shake. For example, well, not even for example, I'm gonna give you some. I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. There's the book of Deuteronomy. I'm gonna get a good one. Deuteronomy 28 verse 54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil towards his brother. So that's part 1. Our eyes are gonna be evil towards our own people. We're gonna have a disdain for our own people. When we look at our own people struggle, we're gonna feel good within ourselves because we're doing better than them. Not saying you're like that, but the general public of our people, we get like a sensation when we see somebody else in not like, yeah, you're a nigga, you suck, this and this and that. Not like that, but we feel better within ourselves because we're not in certain conditions that, you know, the rest of our people are in. You can see a brother going down the street and digging in the trash and shit like that, and you'll thank the Lord that you're not like that. But that's your brother. That's your people. Deuteronomy 28 and 54. Let's keep reading. And very delicate, his eyes shall be evil towards his brother, toward the wife of his bosom. So not only will our eyes be evil towards our brother, but our eyes will be evil towards our wife. They'll be evil towards our sister. They'll be evil towards the other part of us. And of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave. Who suffers from single parent households?
So the commandments is the things that he tells us not to do in order to get.
Deuteronomy chapter 8 and verse 5. Thou shalt also consider in thy heart that as a man chasteneth his son, so the Lord thy God chasteneth thee. Therefore thou shalt keep the commandments of the Lord thy God and walk in his ways. The Lord gave us the commandments for us to be different than everybody else in the world. And whenever he gave us the commandments, he told us if we don't keep them, we're going to be chastised. Amos 3:1. Hear this word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities. It's just like if your kids go to a sleepover, and all the kids at the sleepover get in trouble, you're not going to punish the other kids, you're going to punish your kids. Right. Because they're a reflection of you. It's the very same thing. We as a people don't know who we are, so we cling to religion to try to find God, not realizing that religion is the #1 thing that got us in this condition in the first place. We want to seek this God, we want to find this ideology, we want to find these other religions to try to get to know God, when at the end of the day, we don't even fucking know God for himself. We want God to accept us for who we are, but we don't want to accept God for the requirements that he actually holds on us. Now that's one. Let's get another one. Deuteronomy 28 and 68. Now I'm gonna get 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee, the transatlantic slave trade, the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even of wood and stone. Now when we look at serving gods, that would be a religion. When it comes to wood and stone, we're going to be scattered amongst all these people, and we're going to serve other gods. We're going to be a part of other religions that represent wood and that represent stone. When you think of wood and stone, what are the two main religions that our people are a part of to this day? Christianity
and Islam.
The wood, Christianity, the cross, and the stone, the Mecca stone. Those are the two main religions that we actually are predominantly in. But at the end of the day, we can go to the mosque, we can go to the church. It's not going to change the conditions of our community.
First of all, church don't even break down the Bible.
It don't. They really don't.
They just say a bunch of hoopla and
Yes.
then goddamn get people
And
shouting
then
steal
sow
their
a
money.
seed. And then sow a seed. Exactly.
So that's why I stopped going. My mom them still go, but I stopped
Because it's
going
tradition.
a long time ago.
We're young, bro. Like we see the bullshit. But when it comes to them, they don't necessarily know anything because they've been in church for so long. It's more traditional than anything. If they was to leave the church, they'll probably, have a relapse or some shit. They probably, it's more traditions whenever it comes to our elders. It's traditional to go to church. It's traditional. That's why if I was to talk to an elder and I was to bring out the Bible that's completely different than what his pastor says, he can't accept it. He has to walk away. Because he lived his life all day long believing certain things. And if he found out that all this time, all these years, he was wrong, it's gonna make him feel like shit. Now, that's two curses. One, we're gonna have an evil eye towards our brother, towards our women, and we're gonna leave our kids. There's gonna be single parent households. Two, we're gonna be scattered amongst all these nations and worship and being predominantly the two greatest religions of the planet Earth, which is Christianity and Islam. Let's get you one more. Deuteronomy 28:68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt. Now, I know you're probably wondering, well, that says Egypt. Why is this? That can't be America. What does that word Egypt mean? This is the book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 2. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Whenever we was in Egypt, we was in slavery. So when we think of Egypt, we think of slavery. So the Lord says, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt, slavery, again with ships. Now, you and I both know Egypt and Jerusalem is on the same continent. Christ literally walked in Egypt. We have some of the oldest mosques, not mosques, we have some of the oldest temples in Alexandria, Egypt. We can easily walk there. But this Egypt, this slavery that we're gonna go to, we're gonna go there on ships. It's gonna be a body of water separating us from this place that we're gonna have to serve. We're gonna have to go to this other slavery, to go to this other Egypt on ships. Exodus 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. That old Egypt, that old slavery, we're not gonna see it no more again. But we're gonna go to a new slavery on ships. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. Whenever it comes to bondmen and bondwomen, we're going to be slaves in the place that we're going to be sold to. And whenever it comes to buy, if you go to Exodus 25, if any of our people was poor, like if there was a brother like in a trash can or some shit, he could come and work for me for 7 years. And then after 7 years being an indentured servant, after he served his time, I had to give him a lot of money so that he can leave and actually build his life up. That's how we handle poverty in our land.
You said we gonna be sold again?
No, this is a prophecy that happened dealing with the transatlantic slave trade.
Oh.
This is a curse that plagues and that we're known by. Whether it be the African Americans, whether it be the Haitians, whether it be the Jamaicans, the Colombians, everything that separates us is a different boat stop. Whether it be South America or whether it be North America. Right. So that's one. Now let me show you this, the main hitter. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee and shall pursue thee and overtake thee till thou be destroyed. These curses are going to be on us forever until we die. Until thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not, because we did not listen, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day. And they shall be these curses, and they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. When we look at the conditions that our people are subjugated unto, when we look at the things that we're known by, whether it be the transatlantic slave trade, whether it be us losing our names and losing our nationalities by whip, and calling ourselves Jimmy or John or any of these other fucking names, because we're known by these things, that's a sign upon us to let us know who the fuck we really are today. Because you can't find African American in the Bible. You can't find Jamaican in the Bible. You can't find Chinese in the Bible.
So when they say, who am I, like, what are they referring to? Because I kind of get that.
When they, what you mean?
Whenever
what you mean?
the question arises, that when we go to try to find ourselves or know thyself or something like that, when the question arises,
I'm sure it's real quick.
Who am I? What is that referring to?
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 17. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get Isaiah 65. I haven't pulled this one in a long time, boy. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 65 and verse 15. I haven't pulled this one in a long time. Isaiah 65 and 15. And ye shall leave your name. What we call ourselves, who we are, we're gonna leave that. And ye shall leave your name for a curse. In the very same book, Deuteronomy 28. In the very same book, bro. Let me show you. Deuteronomy 28, and I'm gonna start at 37. Deuteronomy 28 and 30. This is a curse. There's another curse that's gonna be on us. 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whither the Lord that shall lead thee. We're gonna call ourselves by bywords, whether it be black, whether it be Negro, which mean the same thing in different languages. Whether it be black, whether it be Negro, whether it be slave, whether it be Beaner, whether it be brown, whether it be Latino, we're gonna call ourselves by different names. That's not who we actually are. But it says, and ye shall leave your name for a curse unto my chosen. For the Lord God shall slay thee and call his servants by another name. He's gonna kill us, and we're going to be called by another name, referring to the curse of Deuteronomy 28 and 37. This is the book of Hosea, chapter. I got one more, and then I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you break down what I'm talking about. This is the book of Hosea, chapter 1 and verse 10. Hosea 1 and 10. Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, because when you look at the average Christian, who is, you know, the average white Christian, because we all know that Christianity started with white people, it didn't start with us. I'm not talking the followers of Christ in antiquity, I'm talking the religion and that they forced on us. When you look at them and what they teach that being black is bad. They teach that being black is that means that they're a bad people. That's why they push on us stereotypes. That's why they force us into conditions where we have to do things to survive. They say that we're not the children of God. 28. Yet, and it shall come to pass that in that place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there it shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living God. The very same place where we're not looked at as the children of God, the literal children of God, is the very same place where we're going to be known. Everybody's going to know these are the real Jews. These are the real people, because we all know Christ is black. We know Christ is black. I can show you God being black in Revelations 4. Acts 13 and 1. The prophets of old, they was called nigger. Let me show you.
Christ is black?
Yes. You didn't know that? Let me show you.
I honestly did not know that.
Oh, damn. All praise. Acts chapter 13 and verse 1. And you learn something new every day, brother. Acts 13. There's the book of Acts chapter 13 and verse 1. Let me show you this one real quick. Now there was in the church that was at Antioch in Rome certain prophets and teachers, as Barnabas and Simeon. Now these are prophets and teachers. As Barnabas and Simeon, that was called nigger. Now granted,
1 second. Hey, Mom. I actually have some. I just left it on my couch. I'll bring it.
that one, straight to the moon. Skip that one. Joe 30 or 30. 7 36. 7:36.
Okay, I got it. I know what you're talking about.
All right, cool. 7:38.
Okay.
I got 3 scriptures for you. All right, now, nigger. In that time, nigger wasn't using it as a derogatory term. In that time, the only reason we use nigger as a derogatory term because we associate that with slavery. That's what makes us look at the word nigger as bad. But in reality, nigger just means black. So these prophets and teachers, they were just called black. They were called black people, black men. It wasn't necessarily looked at as bad. They just called us black because we didn't look like them. Because we know in Rome it was, the majority of the people that controlled Rome was white people.
Right.
Now that's one who was called nigger. This gave Revelation chapter 1 and verse 13. And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot, and girt about the paps and the golden girdle. His head and his hairs were white like wool. He had white hair and it was woolly. His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow. It was white. And his eyes were as a flame of fire, and his feet was likened unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace. So not only do we know brass is brown. So not only was he brown, but he was as if it burned in a furnace. He was darker. He was a black man.
Right.
As if it burned in a furnace, and his voice as the sound of many waters. We as black people are known for being loud. We talk loud when we having fun, we this and this and that. Even Christ, he was known for being loud. He spoke with authority.
Okay.
He had a voice of many waters. He was a very loud brother. He had authority in his position. He could speak and actually usurp his authority. But the problem is, a lot of people, this is why I have that right here.
Yeah.
This is exactly why I have this, because without the horns, our people believe that that's Christ. Our people grew up thinking our grandmother, our grandfather, our great-grandmother, our great-grandfather.
Is it the same person you just described?
No, that's not. Is his hair woolly?
Nah.
Is his skin burnt like burnt brass? Hell no. This person is not described in the Bible. This person is the image that they gave us and forced upon us to look at the people that conquered us in a higher position, and look at ourselves because we're black as being people that's meant to be in the ghettos, people that's meant to be under subjugation because we're black. They teach us these things, and they teach it to our kids. So when our kids get older, they don't know anything else. Like I said, whenever it comes to religion, you're speaking to our elders, you can't tell them anything different. When you start teaching them at a young age, and they get to a certain level,
you taught them is all they know.
It's all they know. That's exactly why they push that on us. Because
that's why they target young kids so much.
Exactly.
Wow, that's crazy.
Because peep game. The reason that they taught this to us and taught this to our kids, so that generations later, when slavery ends, quote unquote, when slavery ends,
that's all they got to refer to.
No, not necessarily, but our great-grandmother, our great-grandfather told us to fight to be equal, but not even that. But you better respect the white man. You better not get on. They teach you to love them as you love yourself. But that's not biblical. Because Christ even said out of his own mouth, Revelations chapter 13 and verse 9. You see what Christ said about this? Because Christ actually condemns these people for what they did. Revelation chapter 13 and verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. If you have the ability to understand what he's going to say, understand. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. The saints of God, who we made a covenant by sacrifice with in the wilderness, which will be the Israelites according to Psalm 50 and 5, they're going to be patiently and faithfully waiting to put the people into captivity that brought us into captivity. It's only right. They slaughtered millions. They killed millions. What kind of God would he be if he let that happen?
All this shit prophesized.
Huh?
I wonder how they with all all this shit was prophesied.
He knew all this was gonna happen. But us being mortals, we don't know the thought process of him. We can't fathom his thoughts.
Because they gave us their mind instead of the original mind that we came with, right?
Yeah, he didn't. Whenever it comes to us having our original mind that's not, subjugated unto sin, we knew who he was. We knew our responsibility. We loved who he was. And we actually followed our God. But when we actually started following after the other nations, that's what caused us to go off. We want to follow after other nations. We want to follow after other gods, other deities, rather than serving the God that actually made a covenant with us. And when we look at the Bible, we associate this with Christianity, so we automatically don't deal with it because we look at the hypocrisy that's going on in Christianity. But, as Christ said, you have to believe on him, not as this. John 7:38. He that believeth on me, as the scripture hath said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water. If you believe on me as the Bible describes me, as the Bible speaks about me, then out of your belly you're going to have those living waters. You're going to be able to have that light to actually let shine to your people and have them wondering, it's just something about this man. It's just something. You're going to be able to have those living waters if you actually be a light to your people.
That's what I was trying to get you right.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 10 and verse 12. I got two. Mouth of God, I'm gonna show you Christ. Deuteronomy 10 and 12. And now Israel, what doth the Lord thy God require of thee, but to fear the Lord thy God, to walk in all his ways, and to love him, and to serve the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and all thy soul and the spirit, to keep the commandments of the Lord and his statutes, which I command thee this day. John 14 and 15. Let's get the words of Christ. John 14 and 15. This is the book of John, chapter 14 and verse 15. Red letter. If ye love me, keep my commandments. I can show you some Romans.
Yeah.
Because there's a book. I'm gonna get you one that may be hard for you. Because I want you to challenge yourself. I want you to try. Then I'm gonna give you some that you could actually stop doing if you watch what you're doing. There's the book of Leviticus, chapter 11, and verse 7. And the swine, though he divideth the hoof, and be cloven-footed, yet he cheweth not the cud. He is unclean to you. Of their flesh shall ye not eat, and of their carcass shall ye not touch. They are unclean to you. Swine, pig. We can't eat swine. When we look at the things that pigs consume, because believe it or not, they really eat anything. If their baby died in front of them, I can show you a picture of a cow eating his baby pig. Pigs literally eat anything, and our Father doesn't want us eating that because he wants us to be different than everybody else. When you look at everybody else, they'll eat anything and everything. But us, he wants us to actually take care of our body, take care of our temple, and watch what we put inside it. Not just that. I'm going to blow your world with this one. These shall ye eat of all that are in the waters. Whatsoever hath fins and scales in the waters, and in the seas, and in the rivers, them shall ye eat. And all that have not fins and scales in the seas and in the rivers, all that move of the waters, and of any living thing which is in the waters, they shall be an abomination to you. Shrimp, crab, lobster, clams, oysters. You can't eat any of that because they filter the ocean. They clean the water. You can literally look up pictures and see crabs and lobster actually eating dead animals at the bottom of the ocean. They clean the ocean. That's exactly why the ocean is polluted. Because we're taking the thing that's supposed to clean the ocean and putting it on our plate and looking at it as if it's a delicacy and eating it. This is why we're in the condition that we're in, because we don't know who we are. Our people, we grew up looking at, shrimp, crab, lobster as delicacies, but it's completely against God.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. Bro, you have no idea how deep this shit gets.
And you explain it so well that even a baby can understand what you're saying.
When we grow up with these things, brother, it's gonna be hard for us to shake them because we, like I said, we too caught up in our ways. Even if you show me, thus saith the Lord, we're not gonna listen. Brother, I gotta change what I'm doing. How do we love God? How do we? After this, I'm gonna show you Leviticus 19 and 11. But I'm gonna show you, one, how do we love God, and two, what is sin? There's the book of 1 John, chapter 3, verse 4. 1 John chapter 3 and verse 4. Whosoever committed sin transgressed also the law, for sin is the transgression of the law. The very same law that I told you about in Leviticus 11, if you was to eat shrimp, pork, crab, lobster, the things that our Father told us not to eat and put into our bodies to defile us, if you do those things, that's sin. That's you breaking the law. Because according to 1 John 3 and 4, sin is the transgression of the law. Now, how do we love God? There's the book of 1 John, chapter 5, and verse.
Commandments is basically the things that He told us not to do.
The commandments are the things that He told us to do, but when you know what you should be doing, you also get the knowledge of what you shouldn't be doing. It's like
sin is just disobedience.
Yeah, pretty much disobedience. If you do everything that's against the law, that's you transgressing. But if you know what's right, you have to fight to do what's right. How do we love God? 1 John chapter 5 and verse 3. For this is the love of God, that we keep His commandments, and His commandments are not grievous. They're not hard.
Yeah.
1 John chapter 2 and verse 3. And hereby we do know that we know Him. How do we know God? Hereby we do know that we know Him if we keep His commandments. He that saith, I know Him, and keepeth not His commandments, is a liar, and the truth is not in him. Because when you look at people who say that they know God, but they don't actually conform themselves to the ways that God actually wants you to do, you obviously know they're not going to listen to me. I could correct them. I'm going to show them what's right. But before you do anything that you know is wrong, you have to justify it in your head. You have to, so that you can feel comfortable doing it all throughout your life. That's the problem with us. We like to justify things in our head before we do something that we know is wrong. Now let's go to morality. Leviticus 19 and 11. Now when I tell you these laws, I want you to let me know, like even when you look at the dietary laws, we would be much healthier, our elders would be much healthier if we didn't eat the things that we was eating. We would be much healthier, we would live longer. But let's look at this. Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 11. I'm just gonna get this one. Leviticus 19 and 11. Ye shall not steal, ye shall not deal, neither shall ye deal falsely one to another, neither shall ye lie. Just imagine how better our communities would be if we didn't lie to each other, if we didn't steal from each other, and if we didn't deal falsely with each other. Just imagine how much better we would be.
It would be a lot better.
A lot better. And that's why Christ said in John 14 and 15, if you love me, keep my commandments. It's crazy. All this time, this has been collecting dust on grandmama's counter. But all this time, when you go to church, they have to go to seminary school to get their doctrine. They have to pay to go to seminary school, and then you have to teach what they tell you to teach. That's exactly why Nat King, you ever heard of Nat Turner? I said Nat King. Nat Turner?
Nat Turner, yeah, I heard of that name before.
He's the brother that actually led a rebellion because as a baby, they gave him the Bible and said, when the slaves get riled up, I want you to go to them and teach them certain scriptures and read to them certain scriptures so that they can calm down. Because when the slaves grew up with this image, believing that that is God, they believe that the people that got me in slavery, this is how it's supposed to be, because that's Jesus. But if you actually grew up knowing that Christ actually looks like us, we would come to realize this ain't.
I always wondered that, like, why did black men not want to believe in Christianity because it's the white man's religion? And
It is.
Is that what you're preaching?
It is. I mean, Christianity was forced on us when we got over here on slave ships.
But nobody defines Christianity though.
They cleave to the term Christianity because it means to follow Christ. But you can't find me Christianity in the Bible. You have a group of people that followed him, but they never called themselves Christians.
To be Christ-like.
What does it mean to be Christ-like?
Well, you've been preaching.
Exactly. So
That's the Christian.
now, colloquially speaking, I don't follow Christianity because we associate Christianity with the religion.
I don't believe in religion.
But exactly, all praise. That's good. But etymologically speaking, when it comes to a Christian, we actually follow Christ. The words that he said, we actually do them.
It's a relationship.
It's a relationship. Does Christ love everybody?
Yes.
He does. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 15 and verse 24. Matthew, chapter 15 and verse 24.
What version Bible is that?
King James.
Okay.
But he answered and said, I am not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. If Christ loves everybody, then why did he out of his own mouth say, I'm only sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel?
Because he had to get to, he had to fulfill the prophecy of Isaiah, so he had to get to Israel so he can get the disciples. That's how he had to do that.
That doesn't explain how if
he was sent to Israel so that he could
the lost sheep, yes.
To fulfill the prophecy.
But what does that say? He loves, or he sent to everybody.
I mean, don't single yourself out because he was specific on a term. Because if you dig deeper, it'll show that he wanted the Gentiles. He wanted the sinners.
And this is the thing. Now, cleave to the term Gentiles, not realizing that there's two Greek words for Gentiles. Just like there's two Hebrew words for stranger, which is the Hebrew equivalent to Gentile.
Yeah.
Keep the commandments, brother. Me and him gonna have dialogue.
Well, I was gonna help him about explaining save.
I showed you in Matthew 19 and 16. What does it mean to be, how do we get saved? There's the book of Matthew, chapter 19 and verse 16. And behold, one came and said unto him, Good master, what good thing shall I do that I may have eternal life? And he said unto him, red letter, why callest thou me good? There is none good but one, that is God. But if thou wilt enter into life, keep the commandments. Christ said to keep the commandments in order for you to actually be saved. And if you read Romans 3 and 31,
what's the whole context of that?
This dealing with the rich young man. And whenever you keep reading, he said unto him, which Jesus said, thou shalt do no murder, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal. He's quoting the Mosaic law.
In that moment, he had answered a question with a question. So he's like, what do you know about it? So the rich man, was explaining, well, you have to keep all this. That's the rest of that story.
You're not listening though.
No.
He literally told him what law he's supposed to actually keep. He's quoting the Mosaic law.
Yeah.
So the Mosaic law is what we're supposed to be keeping in order for us to actually, Mosaic law and faith in Christ.
Yeah.
Is what we're supposed to be doing in order for us to actually get to the kingdom.
But he fulfilled it. That's why
he fulfilled it. Matthew 5 and 17.
Fulfilled the prophecy.
Let me show you something. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 5 and verse 17.
Well, hold on, before you go
no,
I want to ask, do you believe that he died on the cross for your sins?
I'm not going to answer your preception, presumption. No, just listen. Matthew 5 and 17.
I gave you the mercy.
I feel you, but what me and him was doing, we was eating together.
That's fine.
I was feeding him.
You're street preaching. But that's all.
Exactly.
You're at a buffet.
That's not a buffet.
That's not a buffet. I'm saying you're street preaching. That's a buffet. So I'm standing next to him, grabbing a plate off of the plate that's been served.
And then you're literally usurping the same thing that I told him is the promise.
If you want to walk off, we can talk about it if you want. It's up to you, because you had a question that I didn't have an opportunity.
Matthew 5 and 17, red letter. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. Right. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill.
Exactly.
Let's keep reading. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass. Are we on earth?
You didn't finish the verse.
No, listen. Are we on? See, this is the thing. When I read a verse, I like to break it down bit by bit. I don't want to read over and just read.
No.
Are we on earth?
Read the whole context.
Listen. No, we don't have to read the whole context.
Oh. When
Christ was teaching about the gospel, did he read the whole context?
He would always quote the whole Torah.
Listen,
listen
to what I'm saying. In Luke 4 and 17.
No, I answered your question.
In Luke 4 and 17, whenever he is speaking about the gospel, did he quote the whole? Did he read the whole context? No, he didn't. He didn't.
Yes, he did.
After this, I'm gonna show you he did.
Let me explain to you about being saved if you want to.
This is the problem, bro. there's a problem with Christianity. They will put you in a comfortable position where you don't have to hold yourself to a responsibility to your God.
No, it's not.
You can do whatever you want as long as if you're saved, you good. You don't have to hold yourself to responsibilities of the law, which is the very same thing that Christ told us in Matthew 23:2. He said, the scribes and Pharisees do as they tell you, but don't follow their works because they were hypocrites. The law of Moses. Now, as I was saying, for verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass. We're still on earth, heaven is still up there. Till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law, till all it be fulfilled. So everything in this Bible is fulfilled. The law, no matter how small it is, it will not pass.
Do you, what's your opinion on Hamas and Israel right now?
Well, dealing with Hamas and Israel, that has nothing to deal with us.
That's got to be fulfilled.
No.
That's a prophecy.
Show
Jesus isn't coming back until...
This is the thing, show me that's a prophecy.
You don't want to know. I'm not going to throw my pearls to the swine
but
if you're not going to want to know.
But this is the thing. You calling me the swine, but you're dealing with a religion that did nothing but
I'm not in a religion.
Yes, you are.
I'm in a relationship.
You're in a religion.
I'm in a relationship.
How do you know God?
Oh, I've dealt with God.
How do you know God?
With all my trials and tribulations that I've been through and I've prayed.
Exactly.
And all my
Christianity.
No.
Now,
it's my relationship with God.
Just because you don't claim the denomination of Christianity, you're still teaching the doctrine. You're still teaching the doctrine.
I'm a Baptist.
You're still teaching the doctrine of Christianity.
Because Jesus got baptized, right?
What does that have to do with anything?
The whole book.
What does that have to do? What is it? Okay, so you're all over the place.
No.
First, we're going to show you in Luke 4:17, and then we're going to go to Luke 16:17 whenever it comes to the law being fulfilled. This is the book of Luke, chapter 4 and verse 17. Because you said he didn't just quote it. Let's find out, man. Let's find out. Luke 4:17. And there was delivered unto him the book of the prophet Isaiah. And when he had opened the book, he found the place where it was written. So he opened the book, he found the place where it was written. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he hath anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. He hath sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to preach deliverance to the captives, the recovering of the sight to the blind, to set at liberty them that are bruised, to preach the acceptable year of the Lord. And he closed the book and gave it.
Was fulfilled.
Now, it's not fulfilled.
Because that's him.
That's not fulfilled though.
It was him being.
Do you know where that's quoting them? Do you know that's quoting
That's from Isaiah.
Isaiah what?
It's Isaiah, you know what it is.
Isaiah what though?
I don't have my Bible in my hand, but that was fulfilled. Like Isaiah 46 or something like that.
Let me show you. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 60, and we're gonna start at 1.
Yeah, he fulfilled, him being alive fulfilled that.
He didn't fulfill this.
Well, you didn't finish reading it. Because afterwards it says that he closed it and said that I fulfilled it, and then the Pharisees were upset.
Listen.
I've been allowing you to speak, but you haven't allowed me to speak.
Because I know what you're coming at me with.
No, I'm
it's
trying
Christianity.
To talk to him. It's not Christianity.
No, you're not gonna pull him into the religion. Me and him have had a thorough understanding.
Because he had a question that I want to answer.
Isaiah chapter 6, he asked me.
He asked me. What is
Isaiah 60.
And I asked if you're saved. You said you don't.
Nobody is saved right now. Nobody. And that's Christianity.
Well,
they will grow up and believe certain things.
So what was the point of Jesus dying on the cross?
Jesus died on the cross to give the Israelites the ability to actually enter into the new covenant.
No, that was for the Gentiles. It's for everybody.
No, it's for everybody.
Yeah.
I'm gonna read this though. If it's for everybody, then we're gonna see everybody in this. Isaiah chapter 60 and verse 1.
Can I explain to you what the purpose of being saved?
Can I read the words of God?
No, at this point, no.
Isaiah 61. The Spirit of the Lord God is upon me. He's saying the same thing. The Spirit of the Lord God is upon me, and hath anointed me to preach the good tidings unto the meek. He hath sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening to the prison to them that are bound, to proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord, and the day of vengeance of our God, to comfort all that mourn. Now it's going to continue reading in context. 3, to appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, to give unto them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, that they might be called trees of righteousness, the planting of the Lord. Let's keep reading. Let's go to 4. And they shall build the old wastes, and they shall raise up the former desolations, and they shall report.
You heard and Zion. And Zion.
It's talking about Zion. It's not talking about anybody else.
He said everyone mourns, everyone's sad, everyone gets heartbroken.
Everybody
and Zion.
Everybody
and Zion.
Everybody
You
is
heard him
not
say and Zion.
everybody is not subjugated the same way that black Hispanics are subjugated. They're not. They're
White
not.
people are too.
Huh?
White people are.
No, they're
yes,
not.
Oh, yes, they have.
No, they're not.
Oh, huh?
Does God
How
love
many
white
times-
people?
how many-
Does God love white people?
Why? What do you need? It's His creation.
I'm gonna keep reading this. And strangers shall stand and feed your flock, and the sons of the aliens shall be your plowmen and your vine dressers, and ye shall be named the priests of the Lord. So the Israelites, they're gonna be named the priests of the Lord, but they're gonna have strangers being their plowmen and their vine dressers. Slavery. That is slavery, yes.
Back in with Hebrew culture, whenever, like, let's say I have a debt. All right, this is true. This is the truth, actually. So I had a Chinese boss that had commercial property. He actually bought me a company car for me in my name, but I didn't have to own money, so I was indebted to him. I had to be at his service because I had to pay off my debt. He would want to call that slavery.
That's indentured servitude.
You want to title
That's
it, but
indentured.
but that was Hebrew
that's not
culture.
That's not chattel slavery.
Yeah.
It already explained to him indentured servitude is in our customs, but chattel slavery is not. Chattel slavery.
Chinese people
Chattel slavery is for the other nations.
Yeah.
If you want to go to Exodus 25, I can show
No,
you. That.
slavery is real. But,
Chattel slavery.
But the slavery that you're trying to say is not always being depicted like.
God loves everybody.
Yes.
Romans 9:13. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. Now it's saying as it is written.
What did Esau do though? Did he break the law?
Oh, so it's about what he did. It's about what? No. It's about. is it about what he did?
Did he follow the commandments? Did Esau follow the commandments?
There's the book of Romans, chapter 9, starting at 9. For this is the word of the promise: at this time I will come, and Sarah shall have a son. And not only this, but when Rebekah also had conceived by one, even by her father Isaac. For the children being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil, that the purpose of God according to election might stand, not of works, but of him that calleth. 12. It was said unto her, the elder shall serve the younger, as it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. So before the before Jacob and Esau was even born, he already elected and he already chose out of the womb of Rebekah who he was gonna deal with.
Because he had to fulfill the promise. Because God doesn't break His promise. He's perfect. He's not like us, where I'm gonna leave you alone and then not leave you alone because I broke my promise because I'm not perfect. When God says He's gonna do it, He does it. He sticks to it. So He made a promise to Abraham, and then because of Rebekah not being patient with God's promise to Abraham, she allowed her husband to lay with another woman and fucked up the whole prophecy. Yep.
But that doesn't explain why the Lord hates Esau.
Because
I don't even know who Esau.
Esau would be the so-called white man today. You can't, like I said, you can't find Chinese in the Bible. You can't find Jamaican in the Bible. You can't find Russian in the Bible. You can't find Mexican in the Bible. Everybody has a biblical nationality that, like for example, you go to Arabia, they know that they go back to Ishmael. They can tell you that. You go to East India, they know that they go back to Elam. They can tell you that. These people, they kept their customs, they kept their culture, they know what they go back to. And that lets us know that all these other nations, they have a biblical nationality.
you know, there's only 3 colors in the world: black, white, and brown. And then Noah had 3 sons. There's the 3 colors.
Now, let's go. Let me show you something real quick. This is for you, pertaining to the gospel. There's the book of Isaiah, chapter 14.
Love you, Skirt.
There's the book of Isaiah, chapter 14 and verse 1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and
Gentiles.
And they shall cleave to the house of Jacob, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids.
I'm possessing the government of America.
And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear and from thy hard bondage whereas thou was made to serve. Looking at the things that we was put in a position having to serve the people that took us into slavery, they're gonna have to go into slavery. As Christ said in Revelation 13:9, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. God will be an unrighteous God if he let all those bodies die just for it to be okay and everything to be fine. They have to pay for everything that they did to our forefathers and our foremothers. Because our forefathers and our foremothers made a covenant with him by sacrifice.
The forefathers and the foremothers is who?
Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And also, if you want to talk about slavery, your great-great-grandmother, your great-great-grandfather having to be on the slave plane, all of that bloodshed that soaks in the soil, Christ is coming back in Isaiah 63. Christ is coming back to actually stomp and tread down the very same people that have done nothing but rape, rob, and murder all over the world. But in Christianity, that's not Christ. That's not the Christ that they teach. Like I said, they want you to believe on Christ how you want to believe on Christ, but they don't accept Christ for who he actually is. I clearly showed him in Matthew 15 and 24, I am not sent but only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But apparently it still means everybody.
But you just heard him say that the foreigners will be with Israel.
Captives. I'm here to talk
It's up
to you.
I'm
It's up to
talking
you.
to him right
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
It's up to you. Yeah?
Trying to understand what he's
Because you had a question and I was going to answer what was being saved mean, but if you don't
I
want to hear
didn't
it,
really care. I just care for
It's
the
fine.
answer, but he didn't answer the question.
Exactly.
I was originally talking to him.
Yeah.
Who are
I
you
don't
to
want
try
to
to
get confused and have two people
Exactly.
trying to explain
when
to
two and
me
three
one
speaking
thing.
my name, I'm there. So Jesus is here right now.
You're not speaking in his name. You're speaking in you're speaking in his name. You're not speaking in the actual Christ, how it describes some name. You believe on Christ how you want to believe on him.
No.
According to religion. You said
not
you're
religion.
Baptist. According to religion. Yes, according to religion.
Mhm.
You're not believing on him according to the Bible.
I am.
Well,
Would you believe me if I told you I was a pastor and went to seminary schools?
of course, I would. But you still haven't disputed, because I could go to
'Cause
Obadiah.
I'm not gonna.
I could go to Obadiah.
Not fighting you.
I could, of course we're not. I could go to Obadiah and show you the prophecies pertaining to Esau being slaughtered and being killed whenever the kingdom is established.
I can show you Jeremiah where no, not Jeremiah, it was Nicodemus, not Nicodemus, what's his fucking name? Let's be specific. Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus was king of Judah.
Who was
Judea.
Zacchaeus?
King of Judea.
Zedekiah? Anyways.
How
Let
are
me
you
show
pronounce? Because I read it in Spanish.
Let me show you something. This is the book of Revelations, chapter 13. You were saying? You were saying?
Am I a saint? No, I'm a sinner. Saved by grace.
This is broad. Let me show you something real quick. There's the book of 1 John, chapter 2 and verse 3. And hereby we do know that we know him if we keep his commandments. He that said, I know him and keepeth not his commandments is a liar, and the truth is not in him. Keeping the commandments, if you break the commandments, you're a sinner. How can somebody prove I've been lying?
No. I'm saying even lying is a sin. So
I don't lie.
So when your mother says, what do you, like, all right, now I ain't gonna use your mother. I'm gonna use like your girlfriend. She says, do I look fat in this? And you know she's fat.
I would let her know.
You just gonna break her heart.
I love God more than anything. I'm gonna do what God told me, regardless of how it makes anybody feel.
There's been times where yeah.
That's what a lot of people don't understand. They will curve the love of God to appease the people, anybody else's emotions.
But you lie. You can't say you don't lie.
I don't lie. Who are you to tell me that I lie?
I'm not. I'm just saying.
Exactly.
people
I
do
don't.
lie, and-
Just because the general public lies and they're comfortable
Yeah.
with lying.
But you're not sinless.
Now, sinless and perfect is completely different. Sinless is you never sinned in your entire life. I have sinned before, yes.
Yeah.
But I don't sin.
But lying is a sin.
Of course, I don't lie. You can believe whatever you want to. Just because you believe that it's impossible to do these things doesn't mean it's not possible. I walk circumspect. I watch what I say, I watch what I do, and I watch what I think. If you get used to that, you can watch everything that you're doing regardless of the environment that you're in.
Yeah. There's a difference between not like saying the truth and just lying.
that's what I was explaining to you when we was talking. I'm like, how do I watch what I'm saying, what I'm
Because
how I'm acting?
He's talking to me. You practice it first. Take it day by day. First, whenever you get up in the morning, if you want to do something that you know you shouldn't be doing, try to avoid that. Everything starts up here first. Your actions, your fruits will not come unless it starts up here. So first, whenever it starts up here, watch what you're actually doing and watch what you're saying, because what you say and what you do reflects who you are as a person. So just take it day by day, bro. Like you can have an off day, take that off day and practice. Watch what you're doing, watch how you're talking. Before you do anything, okay, I'm not gonna do that. Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna do that. That's how you get better. And once you actually work on that, it's gonna be hard at first. But Philippians chapter 4 and verse 13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. If you believe on Christ and you believe that he can give you the ability to actually do these things and keep the law, you can do it, bro. It's not hard. A lot of people, they have a defeatist mentality where, man, that's too hard. I can't do that, man. A lot of people carry that defeatist mentality, but if you carry that defeatist mentality, you will not find yourself actually getting to the level and actually knowing God for who he actually is. You're just gonna stay stagnant, and you're gonna always justify, just leaving it alone. Be circumspect and take your time. Don't let it. This is the book of 1 Corinthians. No, I'm getting 2 Corinthians. 2 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 16. 2 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 16. For which cause we faint not, but though our outward man perish, because when you watch what you're doing, your flesh, it wants to go and smoke a blunt. Your flesh wants to go and fuck this dude's wife. Your flesh wants to do that. It's gonna hurt. Your flesh is gonna hurt. But though your outward man perish, yet the inward man is renewed day by day. Every single time that you avoid the flesh, this gets stronger every day. And when that gets stronger, there ain't nothing you can do, bro.
What's your attitude when it comes to money?
Let me show you something. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 6. Matthew, chapter 6. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 6 and verse 19. Lay not up for yourselves treasure upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through and steal. This is the problem. A lot of our people, when we work, now money, we need it. It's a tool. You have to look at money as a tool. You don't want to look at money as if I gotta get it, I gotta do whatever I can to get it, You don't want to look at it like that. Because where you strive and where you work hard to get your money or to store up your treasures, that's where you're gonna put your most efforts in. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. If you want your treasures to be stored up in the kingdom, you're gonna come out here, you're gonna be a light to your people, you're gonna watch what you're doing, you're gonna keep the commandments, and you're going to let your actions speak for themselves.
So there is a heaven and hell?
There is no such thing as hell. When it comes to being a light to your people, they look at you, they can trust you because they know that you hold yourself to a certain standard. They know that he's not gonna lie for me. He's not gonna lie to me. He's not gonna steal from me. He's not gonna deal. I can trust him. I can be around him.
You can also look at somebody and tell that by having a conversation and looking at their actions.
Exactly.
And that's why I come in there. Like I would say something that sound real good, sound perfect,
yeah,
to the utmost regard.
Yeah.
But then when I observe myself, I'm like, do what I said match what I'm doing? And most of the time I come up with no.
Exactly.
That's why I be so stuck in my mind, like, damn, like I feel stuck.
At least you're able to recognize it. A lot of our people can't recognize it. A lot of our people just live their life and just do whatever they feel like doing.
And some people don't even say nothing. They live their life with a guilty conscience, like, I'm gonna be somebody gonna say something or do something to me and I'm not gonna like that, therefore I'm not gonna step out my own way.
Exactly. But That's a lot of people. They'll stop doing certain things to appease the feelings of other people. But let me show you something. I'm gonna keep reading on this, and then I'm gonna get to the point. 24. No man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. No man can serve God and mammon. When you look into the Greek and the word mammon, it means possessions, it means treasures. If you're gonna find yourself wanting to work and get money and focus on money, you're gonna, in a sense, look at God a certain type of way because you feel as if you have to do it yourself. But if you follow God and you actually do what God tells you, then you're gonna love Him, and you're gonna hate how our people act whenever it comes to getting money. You're gonna hate that.
There's a verse that says that the birds of the skies that don't farm or save, they store, that He takes care of them.
That's
and
actually
you being greater than the birds, God would take care of you too. So like,
I'm gonna keep reading. It's 25.
Well, that was a good verse though.
Therefore I say unto you, take no thought for your life, what ye shall eat. But the reason I said can I read is because that's in the very next.
Okay.
25. Therefore I say unto you, take no thought. You don't come to my platform and tell me I allow you to speak. This is the pride.
That's pride right there.
Is pride a sin?
Yes.
Show me. Exactly.
Give me the book.
Therefore I say unto you, take no thought, you have your Bible, for your life, what ye shall eat or what ye shall drink, nor yet for your body what ye shall put on. Is not the life more than the meat, and the body than the raiment? Behold, the fowls of the air, for they sow, neither do they reap, nor gather into barns, yet your heavenly Father feedeth them. Are ye not much better than they?
Right, I just said that. Yeah.
As I was saying, that's why I told you to let me read. Now, as I was saying,
I allowed you to.
Devil.
No.
Damn devil. This deceiver. But anyways, this is the problem with a lot of our people. We feel as if I don't necessarily have a relationship with God, or God is not necessarily helping me out, so I gotta do this on my own. When you feel as if you have to do things on your own, think of the birds.
Hey, he takes care of it.
Like he said, they don't work, they don't clock in, they don't do anything, but he still feeds them. Keep the commandments and follow Christ, and he's gonna take care of you regardless.
Amen. God bless you guys.
So now he's talking about pride. Let me show you something real quick. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7 and verse 6. Let's talk about pride. For thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God has chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. Now don't that sound prideful? This people is above all people upon the face of the earth. That's exactly why we can feel how we want to feel, because we know that the Lord made a covenant with our forefathers by sacrifice. But what they're going to tell you, what Christians will tell you, you don't have to worry about the law. All you got to do is just have faith on Christ. You know, he's going to accept you no matter what. You're saved. Even though I went to Matthew 24 and 13 and showed him, he that endureth unto the end, the same shall be saved. This is the problem with Christianity. They'll go to school, seminary school, and they have to be taught certain things. And then if you entertain that religion for so long, you don't know anything else. Like he said, he's a pastor. I bet he didn't know he's not even supposed to tithe.
Tithe, like to kill money.
This is the book of Matthew. My Bible falling apart. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 10. I'm gonna start at 8. I'm gonna start at 7. As ye go, preach, saying the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out devils. Freely ye have received, freely give. Provide neither gold nor silver for brass in your purses. So these pastors, when they're preaching, when they're teaching, they're not supposed to be requiring money for their services.
Right, that didn't even sound right. How you gonna do God's work and then ask the people for money?
Exactly. Because believe it or not, tithing is actually a law. So if you're gonna sit here and say the law is done away with, like I showed him in Matthew 5 and 17. Like I showed him. Let me show you this real quick, because he'll say the law, it's been fulfilled. It's been fulfilled. Matthew 5 and 17. Me and you are gonna read this and break this down bit by bit. Matthew, and I want you to tell me, fuck how I feel, fuck what I think. I want you to tell me what it says. Matthew 5 and 17. Think not that I am come to destroy the law. Don't think I'm coming to destroy the law. Or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. He's came to fulfill the prophecies, because believe it or not, before Christ was even born, he was prophesied to come for this nation and prophesied to die for this nation. And he was even prophesied to be in the womb of Mary. All those prophecies had to come to pass. That's what he fulfilled when he actually died. But let's keep reading. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law. So if it's saying, I did not come to fulfill, or I did not come to destroy, but to fulfill. But in the very next verse, it says, till heaven and earth pass. Until everything is fulfilled, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle, one little small law and one big law shall in no wise pass from the law. Now I wanted to get this for him, because this lines up right with it. There's the book of Luke chapter 16 and verse 17. Luke chapter 16 and verse 17. And it is easier for heaven and earth to pass. It's easier for the kingdom to be established in heaven and this place to be destroyed. It's easier for all that to happen than one tittle of the law fell. It's easier for all that to happen than one of the laws failed. Let me show you. I'll show you another translation. Because I do comparative translations. There's the book of Luke, chapter 16 and verse 17. Because I know the King's English kind of gets hard to understand. Luke 16 and 17 and the GNT. But it is easier for heaven and earth to disappear than for the smallest detail of the law to be done away with. Meaning, even to this very day, we have to keep the law. And it's easier for heaven and earth to disappear than for you not to keep the law.
Yeah, it's damn so a lot easier. That's what you see right now.
Got one more for you. There's the book of Revelations, chapter 4. This is the last book of the Bible. The last book of the Bible. Revelation chapter 14 and verse 12. Here is the patience here's the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. The people that keep the commandments and have faith in Christ are the ones that's going to actually endure and actually make it. But you have to go through a lot of stuff. Just like Christ, whenever he carried that cross, the people threw rocks at him, people pulled patches out of his beard. Just like Christ had to go through all that shit, we have to go through a lot of stuff, keeping the commandments and having faith in Christ, so that we can get saved out of this place. It's the very same way.
Damn.
Very same way.
Crazy. So that's the only way.
That's the only way.
It ain't no other way.
No.
That's why when it seemed like God done lifted your spirits a little bit, like you keeping his commandments 1 minute and then you do away with them the next minute. That's why he show you like why you should keep his commandments.
Let me show you something real quick. Because when people, Matthews 22 and 40, let me show you something real quick. Because a lot of people, Matthews 22 and 40. If I was to ask him what commandments, this is what he would say. I'm gonna show you in this. Then I'm gonna show you in the other translation. There's the book of Matthew, because this is what they say is his commandments. Matthews 22 and 40. Matthews 22 and verse 40. Nah, on these two commandments. Wait, I'm gonna start at 37. And Jesus said unto him, Thou shalt love thy neighbor Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment. And the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang all the law. This is what they will say is the commandments of Christ. It's to love your neighbor and love God. But they don't realize the law of Moses Matthews 22 and 40 in the GNT. The whole law of Moses and the teachings of the prophets depend on these two commandments. Because when you read Leviticus 19 and 11, like I showed you, men shall not lie, men shall not deal falsely, men shall not steal one from another. If you love your brother, you're not going to do those things. You're not supposed to have any other God before the Most High God. You're not supposed to deal with any other religions than the Most High God. That's you showing God that you love him. And you're not dealing with everything else. If you love God and you love your neighbor, you will do these things. That's why he told them these two commandments. Because it all falls into play to loving your brother and loving God.
Love God is to do what? To love God. Like, what does that mean then?
1 John chapter 5 and verse 3. Matter of fact, I already got that one. Let me get 2 John 6. 2 John 6. And this is love, that we walk after his commandments. This is the commandment that as ye have heard from the beginning, you should walk in it. The very same commandments that I showed you in Leviticus, not eating pork, not eating shrimp, crab, lobster, not lying, not dealing falsely, not stealing from your brother. All of these commandments, if you do them, you're showing God that you actually love him and trust him because you're following the words that he gave us.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Like he wants us. Let me show you something. This book of Leviticus. I'm gonna go to Leviticus 19 real quick. Then I'm gonna jump to 20. Leviticus 19 and 1. The term holy. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto all the congregation of the children of Israel, and say unto them, Ye shall be holy, for I, the Lord God, am holy. Now, the term holy. What does it mean to be holy? Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 26. And ye shall be holy unto me, for I the Lord am holy, and have severed you from other people that you should be mine. To sever means to cut. The Lord wants us to be holy because he cut us from everybody else. He separated us from everybody else because he made a promise to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to their seed that comes out of their loins. So he wants us to be holy by us being separate from the other nations and us not following the actions of everybody else, but following his words.
Following his word.
Exactly.
Damn. And it's amazing how a lot of people don't get this.
They don't. That's why when you bring up the commandments to them, they just think, I'm just gonna love, filling with their emotions. But real love is an action.
Right. Do you have a word for emotions?
I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna show you something about.
What did he put our emotions for?
Let me show you something real quick. There's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 17 and verse 9. The heart. Now, when it comes to the heart, your heart is your mind, because in reality, the heart in your chest, it ain't shit but a organ. You can't do anything with it. You don't think with it. When people think with their heart, everything comes from here. Jeremiah 17 and 9. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? If people just follow their own mind and do what their mind just blindly leads them to do, it's desperately wicked. It's gonna have you doing things and have you feeling and have you wanting to do things that's gonna put you in a fucked up condition. That's why we're not supposed to be following this. We're supposed to be following the code of conduct that our God gave us so that we can stay out of this and not just use our emotions to do whatever we want. It's desperately wicked. Who could actually know our heart? I'm gonna leave you with this one. There's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 10 and verse 12. One more time. And now Israel, what doth the Lord thy God require of thee? But to fear the Lord thy God, to walk in all his ways, to love him. If you love God, he'll see that through your actions. He'll see you be different when you're amongst all your peoples. He'll see that, and believe it or not, but if they see you not do certain things, it'll either convict them or it'll make them reevaluate what they got going on and make them want to change.
So that's why we shouldn't fear God.
I mean, we should fear God.
I mean, yes, When it comes to fearing God, remember in Deuteronomy 8:5, as a father chastises his son, when you go to school and you cutting up in class, if you get your ass whooped when you go home, you're gonna be scared as hell to go to school and cut up again the next day, because you don't want to get that ass whooped.
Right.
You fear him. When it comes to us fearing the Lord, I don't want God to put something on me because I break his laws. Lord knows what he'll put on me. I'm scared. I don't want to see, because if you read Isaiah 30:18, he's known by his judgments. You're gonna cry to God when you get that judgment.
Yeah.
If you actually truly fear him, you're gonna watch what you do, because you don't want him to put that judgment on you.
You just explained everything I need to know in a nutshell.
And peep this. Everything that I told you, I went to the Bible. If he was to walk with you down the street, he would just tell you be charismatic, be smooth with it. He'll do all of that, but won't show you a Bible verse or show you 2 or 3. When we hold ourselves to this book, we have to go to this book and show you what we're talking about. Just like when I showed him in Isaiah 60, Isaiah 61, the gospel. The gospel is a certain group of people who've been oppressed, who've been slaughtered, who've been subjugated, who've been imprisoned, to finally get out of that position and get in a certain righteous authority, and the people that put them in that position get placed in that position. Rule over their captives. And he tried to say, I'm a captive of the Lord. Nigga, no, you not.
It's crazy. I wasn't aware of everything that God say when he say keep his commandments. It works in opposite when it come to man.
Yeah,
Like,
of course
it works totally
yes, it does.
opposite. But if you in your emotions, you're not gonna understand
You're
that.
not. Because when you operate in your emotions, you don't necessarily think logically. You don't have critical thinking whenever you're when you're emotional.
Because normally when I do that, I get stuck. I get real stuck. I'm aware for the most part, but I'm stuck because it's like, damn, like, I don't know what to do at this point. I don't know what to do. I can't do shit. It's like
That's why. Hold on, I got something for you. Hold on, real quick. Let me show you something. Because I wanted to get this.
Think, like, you can't think in that moment. It's hard to think. Won't nothing come up, like.
Hold on. Because everything that you do is how much you only place in which you save for. Ooh, 65. Let me get 65. Deuteronomy 28. Now I'm gonna show you in another translation. I'm gonna show you this in another translation. Deuteronomy 28 and 65. And among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shalt the sole of thy foot. Now this is the curses, remember? This is the curses. And among these nations that we're going to be scattered to, among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shalt the sole of thy foot have rest, but the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart and failing eyes and sorrow mind. I know you're probably wondering, what does all that mean? What does that mean? Let me show you in another translation. Deuteronomy 28 and 65. 28 and 65. You will find no peace anywhere, no place to call your own, and the Lord will overwhelm you with anxiety, hopelessness, and despair. In the curses. That's a curse on us.
Actually, what's happening right now.
Exactly.
Wow, that's crazy.
That's what's wrong with our community and our people. We can't. The only way I know God is if I go to a religion or if I go to the church, and they're not gonna tell me anything that's gonna make me actually better myself.
They don't even say this. None of this.
They don't.
Of what you're talking about.
They don't, bro, and it's in the Bible. They just skip right over it. That's why he says, whenever he says, well, just keep reading the whole chapter. You don't have to read the whole chapter to get context. You don't.
All I need someone to do is break down what is being said.
Exactly.
That's it.
Exactly.
All that, obviously, I don't know what the fuck going on in the church.
All of those are tools used to deceive you. That's why I call them the devil. He's just trying to deceive you. That's really what it was. And me and you was building, and me and you was eating. So I was not finna let that pretty much rip out.
And I saw how you handled yourself too. That was crazy. I thought you would have.
Yeah. I wanted to, but at the end of the day, I gotta watch because I represent Christ too. Just like Christ wants us to represent Him properly, I have to represent Him too. What the fuck would I look like if I just broke that nigga jaw for coming up here trying to take what I? Nah, that's not Christ-like. I'm gonna let him sit there and I'm gonna let him say his shit. He ain't finna come to my platform and tell me what to do. That's not finna happen.
Right.
You just get avoided.
Right. That's love, dog. That's respect. And I was looking at that more than anything. I was looking at you versus what he was doing the whole time. I'm like, okay, this is what being Christ-like look like.
You have to have a authority and you have to stand on His word. Plain and simple. Let me show you. There's the book of Matthew, chapter 23, and verse 2. Let me show you what I was talking about whenever I quoted this. Now, I'll get Matthew 4 and 4. This is just straight to the point. Whenever Christ came to the scene and he was in the wilderness getting tempted of the devil, He didn't eat for 40 days and 40 nights. So when your flesh is weak, you're gonna do anything and you're gonna try to appease your flesh. But your spirit is strong. So the devil came to him, tempting him, and the very first thing that he said, Matthew chapter 4 and verse 4, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone. A man's life does not just consist of what makes him feel good. A man's life does not just consist of eating food and just living your life.
Right.
Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. Meaning, everything that God told us to do in the law, everything that God warned us about in the prophets, everything that God told us to do whenever it comes to how we operate amongst each other, we're supposed to live by that. That's what Christ said. That's exactly why I said the Christ that y'all teach is not the Christ of the Bible.
Right.
And if you believe on Him as the Bible depicts Him and it speaks about Him, out of your belly shall flow rivers of living water.
How did you learn how to interpret the book?
It takes years. Well, believe it or not, but once you actually start to keep the commandments, this is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 5. Deuteronomy 4 and 5. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, the laws, even as the Lord my God commanded me, that you should do so in the land where ye go to possess them. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations. When we actually start to keep the commandments, you'll start to understand certain things in the Bible. And you'll start to understand how they operate and why they operate, because they live off the law. And then everything starts to make sense.
Shit.
Through us keeping the commandments, we get understanding.
Damn, that's crazy.
That's how.
And this is an everyday thing.
Yes.
Like every day, sun up to sundown. It takes work to develop all
Take it day by day. And this and He doesn't really tell us anything that's too hard. Like not lying, not stealing. You can stop doing those. The only thing that you might have a hard time with is the eating. Whenever it comes to eating certain things, that's probably that might be one of your biggest challenges. Whenever it comes to weed, we ain't supposed to be smoking weed. It's an herb. We're supposed to, if you need something to help you, eat it. It's an herb. You're not gonna smoke rosemary. You're not gonna smoke spinach. It's an herb. You're supposed to eat it. He gave us the herbs for meat. You can drink if you need something to help you cope. Dealing with the life, because you gotta keep the commandments. You can use drinking to help you, as long as you use it in moderation. Don't overwhelm yourself with drinking.
So is it okay to drink beer?
Yeah, it's okay to drink whatever you want. Just not lean. That's a medicine. We ain't supposed to be dealing with that. But when it comes to drinking, you can drink whatever you want, bro. Just don't smoke weed, because whenever it comes to us defiling our temples, there's the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 16. 1 Corinthians 3 and 6. Know ye not that ye are the temple of God? If we have the Spirit of God within us because we keep the law, you don't want that spirit to have dirty furniture on the inside of you. You don't want that spirit to be in a dirty ass place whenever it's inside of you. Know ye not that ye are the temple of God, and the Spirit of God dwelleth within you? If any man defile the temple of God, and him shall God destroy. For the temple of God is holy. Holy being separate because you're keeping the laws. If you're keeping the laws, you don't want to do certain things that's going to defile you. Because you don't want that Spirit of God that's within you to be uncomfortable.
Would you call this game, like, is this synonymous to having game?
Yes, you can say this game. But not a game as in something that you just play with or anything like that, but game as giving you the ability to see through people. It gives you the ability to see through people, to understand why certain things are the way that they are, and it gives you the ability to actually see the world for what it truly is. Bro, every Saturday I'm gonna be out here.
Every Saturday.
Every Saturday. 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock.
Hey man, I'm gonna come every Saturday, man. If God,
Some deodorant? Nah, brother, I ain't got no deodorant at all.
God.
Sorry, man.
God willing, brother, I'm gonna be out here.
Hey, bro, if it's of God, you come holler at me. Whatever you do, whenever you go home and you're sitting and you have questions, write them questions down. We could have a long dialogue about anything. Whether it be what happens when you die, whether it be reincarnation, whether it be the whole hell aspect, whether it be, because the brother, whenever he mentioned hell, he don't realize that in the Greek there's 3 definitions of hell. There's Hades, there's Tartarus, and then there's Gehenna. Gehenna is a plot of land that we would have and we would throw trash in to dispose of all the garbage. Tartarus, if you ever heard of Hades? All right, Greek mythology. The movie Hercules. You know the man with the blue hair? With the blue hair that would rule the underworld? All right, cool. Well, in Greek mythology, there's a man named Hades. His dominion to dwell and his dominion to conquer is the underworld. Hades, when people think of hell, that's what they think of. They think of Greek mythology. And Tartarus, the other word that's utilized in hell in 1 Peter 2, that is just the bottom part of hell. That's all it really is. It's just Greek mythology. That's all it really is. Mythology.
Oh, okay. So it's not like.
It's not a. Hold on. First, let me show you something. First, because there's a reason that they push that shit on us. 1 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 11. But now I have written unto you to keep company, if any man that is called be a brother. I think it's 2 Corinthians. 2 Corinthians 5 and 11. 2 Corinthians 5 and 11. It gotta be 2 Corinthians. 2 Corinthians 5 and 11. Okay, here we go. Knowing therefore the terror of the Lord, we persuade men. But we are made manifest unto God, and I trust also and made manifest in your consciousness. So whenever they tell you about this place where there's people rotting and people being tortured and shit like that, you get scared. It's through terror you will be influenced to follow these things. That's why in Christianity, if you don't do this or you don't do that, you're gonna go to hell. They do that to control you. If you don't pay this much, you pay that more. You don't listen to pastors, you're gonna go to hell. You're gonna end up finding yourself in hell. When they think of hell and they think of the movies, they think of the songs, they think of all the shows, they think of the cartoons, hell subconsciously is on us. So when we think of hell, we automatically think of a place with a man in the middle of the damn earth with a pitchfork and a cauldron. But that's all Greek mythology though.
Greek mythology is what?
Greek mythology is pretty much the belief system of the Greeks. They have their gods and they have their religion. That's what Greek mythology is. It's the Greeks' customs, the Greeks' ideologies, and the Greeks' gods, all in one.
So it's basically somebody else's doctrine that they gave.
Yes. The Greeks, though, a long time ago. Like, let me show you something real quick.
So are the Greeks in the Bible?
Hades. This is supposed to be Hades, the man in the middle of the earth with a 3-headed dog. Greek religion and mythology is the god of the dead, the king of the underworld, in which his name became synonymous with Hades, was the eldest son of Kronos and Rhea. It's all Greek gods. That has nothing to do with the Hebrews. Nothing to do with the Hebrews whatsoever. But because we have the Greek Septuagint, due to us having the Greek Septuagint and being subjugated under it wasn't Antiochus. It wasn't Antiochus. Who was it? Not Antiochus. Ptolemy. Grew to us. I don't even think it was Ptolemy. Yes, it was Ptolemy. The Ptolemaic kingdom is too. Yeah. Due to us being subjugated under Ptolemy and us having the Greek Septuagint, they had to put certain Greek gods within our text. And because we was forced to do that, because we had to follow the Greeks, just like we had to follow the Romans, just like we got to follow the Americans, they put certain gods within our text, and we didn't like that. We had a whole day of mourning called the 8th of Tevet. The 8th of Tevet is a day that we cried and we mourned because of how horrible the translation was dealing with the Greek Septuagint, because it was so awful. We was forced to do that because they wanted also their Greek people to have the Bible. So the only way for us to have the Bible is if it's for everybody, when God does not deal with everybody.
Bro.
Yeah.
Cold, man.
I've been doing this for I've been teaching out here for like 3 years. I've been known who I was for about 6 years.
That's what I'm trying to get to. Like, what is
Bro,
that?
it's possible. Nigga, it's possible. Just take it step by step.
That's all it means.
Yes. Just take it step by step, bro. Whatever you do, seeing that Thanksgiving is coming up, don't go to Thanksgiving, because we know that Thanksgiving represents the slaughtering of Native Americans, and not also that, but another Greek god dealing with the basket. What is the basket? You know how in some stores or some Thanksgiving decorations, you'll see the basket with like the fruit and everything inside of it. Mm-hmm. It's like a basket with the fruit coming out of it.
Right.
That's another Greek god. Not that in general, but who that actually goes back to. Like, for example, Easter goes back to Ishtar. Jesus goes back to Nimrod. I could be wrong, brothers. If I'm wrong, edify me, let me know. But all these deities go back to other gods. What we look at as Christmas, what we look at as Thanksgiving, is us actually following after other gods. And Christ, not Christ, but the Bible even tells us, hold on, dealing with Christmas. Jeremiah 10. Let me show you. I want you to tell me if this sounds like Christmas. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 10 and verse, I'm going to start at 1. Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord God, learn not the way of the heathen. Learn not the way of the heathen. Neither be dismayed at the signs of heaven. Don't look at the stars and be driven to want to follow them. Neither be dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. The other nations, they look at the stars and they want to worship them and they want to follow them. That's why we got zodiac signs. That's why we got all kinds of different ideologies revolving around the stars and shit.
You believe in the zodiac signs?
It's bullshit. You can't tell me the man that I am based upon the alignment of the stars. You can't tell me that. It's bullshit. It's bullshit, really. But let's keep reading. For the customs of the people are vain. The customs of these people is not good for us. It's vain. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands with the workman with the axe. They deck it with silver and with gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammers that it move not. They are upright as the palm tree, but speak not. They must not needs be born. Christmas. They cut the tree out of the forest. They stand it up with nails and fasten it so that it don't move. And they decorate it with silver and gold. Those are customs that we're not supposed to be following. Thanksgiving, celebrating the slaughtering of native.
I've been celebrate holidays though for a long time since I tried to.
That's their custom. That's their custom that they pushed on us. That if we don't follow it and we don't do it, I'm gonna kill you. And yes, the Greeks are in the Bible. We have a book, we have the Apocrypha that deals with Alexander the Great whenever he came to our kingdom, and First Maccabees, whenever he came to our kingdom, and you know, we let him in, and he realized that these people, I don't think it's First Maccabees, I think, yeah, it is First Maccabees. Yeah, it is first. Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great. Let me show you. I'm gonna show you this. I gotta get to class.
Okay. Yeah.
First Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 1. Let me show you this. Maccabees. Maccabees. I think I can show you this one.
I like that bag, man. Where you get that bag from?
Oh, Burlington Coat Factory.
Oh man, I'm gonna go see if I can find it.
This is the same Bible. This is the same Bible, but it has all the books. This has all the books. Then this, the 66, it also, which is the Apocrypha. This is missing the Apocrypha. This has it, but it's in the it's in the GNT. Let me show you. First Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 1. All right. And the history. Wait, that's not one. Oh, it is one. All right, cool. And the history begins when Alexander the Great, son of Philippi of Macedonia, marched from Macedonia and attacked Darius the king of Persia in the Media. And Alexander enlarged the Greek empire by defeating Darius and seized his throne. He fought many battles and captured the fortified cities and put the kings of the reign to death. And he advanced to the ends of the earth. He plundered many nations. And when he had conquered the world, he became proud and arrogant by building up a strong army and dominated the whole nations. And their rulers and forced everyone to pay taxes. Now, if you keep reading, it then talks about how Alexander came to us. And whenever he came to us, he gave us the ability to be to have an exemption because we showed him himself in the scriptures. We showed him that, you know, you're gonna come to us. You're gonna come and we're gonna show you and this and this and that. So whenever he saw that he was actually in the book, he was like, damn, I'm gonna let y'all make it. I ain't gonna tax y'all. I'm gonna let y'all make it. So the Greeks, the Romans, all of them, yeah, they're in the Bible. Yeah, they're in the Bible. First, let me show you something else. First Maccabees chapter 4 and verse 60. Dealing with the Romans. First Maccabees chapter 4 and verse 60. Then they built the high walls and strong towers around Mount Zion, so that the Gentiles could not come in and trample and defile it again. Because the Romans came and destroyed our place. They destroyed our place and subjugated us and defiled it again. Judas placed a detachment of soldiers there and guarded the temple. He also fortified the town of Bezur, and so that the people of Israel would have a fortress facing Idumea. This is the one with the Romans. The Romans are called Idumea. Edom, the white man. That's who they go back to. That's who they are. Got a cold one for you. Then this is it. Second Maccabees chapter 6 and verse 6. It was impossible to observe the Sabbath, to celebrate any of the traditions of the festival, or even, I'm gonna start at 3. The oppression was harsh and almost intolerable. Gentiles filled with the temple with drinking and party and all sorts of immorality. So these people, when they conquered us, our holiest temple, they went in there and threw a party. They having sex all over the place. They doing all kinds of things in our temple that you don't fucking do. Just out of spite us. Just to spite us. They even had intercourse with prostitutes there. Forbidden objects were brought into the temple, and the altar was covered with detestable sacrifices prohibited by our law. It was impossible to observe the Sabbath, to celebrate any of the traditional festivals, or even so much as to admit to being a Jew. They made it to where we can no longer call ourselves Jews. They subjugated us, and they pushed their doctrines and they pushed their religions on us, and they said you better not call yourself a Jew. You are now a Roman citizen. That's exactly what happened when we got over on slave ships. You're not this, you're not that, you're now this. And now, we're American citizens. All of this happened because we broke the commandments. And all of this is chastisement that the Father is putting on us for not keeping the commandments. Greeks, Romans, Egyptians, all of that is in the Bible.
So if I do what that we discussed, right?
Yeah.
Do that allow me to become one-on-one?
Between
One-on-one. Like when if the way you was reading, you can like go back and translate.
Yes,
that.
you can. Yes, you can.
It's easy.
You get the ability to do that. You got a phone?
Yeah, I got a phone.
I could, cause me, I'm just a little nigga. I'm finna actually go to camp. I'm finna actually go to camp. Now, I'm doing this by myself because it's my responsibility. Christ said to come out here and teach the people. But the people that I'm finna join, they're actually doing that right now on the belt line. And I usually I would be gone by now, but I'm finna head over there to them and sit online and just watch.
What?
Because it's a group of brothers that come together and actually teach the word. Let me show you something.
That's cold.
These brothers. Now look. Like brothers, we go to colleges and teach the people at colleges. We debate Muslims. We teach in San Diego.
So let me
We
ask you something. When you started doing that, you didn't go out and try to find people
No.
to connect with.
No, I first grasped the knowledge myself. I first got a good understanding of what I'm about to teach people and understand that I have to be able to answer all questions. I first, for like 4 years, I sit and just study. Sit, study, watch videos, watch debates, watch classes, and then just soak up the knowledge. And then once I'm able, then I go out and teach. And then I spread the word.
For 4 years, bro.
Well, some people it took them less than that. Some people it took them longer than that. It all depends on how much you actually put into it. Me, I slacked, and I slacked sometimes, and I bullshit off. So it took me 4 years having to actually study and actually.
So you made a decision, and you just.
I mean, at the end of the day, if the Lord said don't do it, I don't do it. It's just simple as that. If the Lord said don't do this and don't do that, or don't eat this and don't eat that, I just do it. I may not want to do it. I may not want to change my life like that. But at the end of the day, when you die, nothing's going with you in that grave. But when you do what you're supposed to be doing, when you do die, look at the times now, if you actually do keep the commandments and have faith, you might actually see the end of this world. Looking at the geopolitics dealing with Ukraine and Russia and all that. But if you actually do keep the commandments and shit like that, you might actually, you have a chance to get beamed up and get the fuck up out of here. Because only a small portion of our people is gonna actually be able to make it. But the majority of us, 2/3, is gonna have to get put to death.
What does that mean?
Meaning the majority of us don't want to get it and don't want to follow it. The majority of us want to stay doing what we're doing. But only 1/3 will actually stop doing what they're doing and take on that responsibility.
That's cold.
And as I showed you in Matthew 6, as the birds will be fed and they don't do anything, it's the same way with you, bro. If you do what he wants you to do, he's gonna take care of you regardless of whatever you think. You just gotta have faith.
What the Bible says? Action, the body language is a language. The sign language.
All right, brother.
And the bullet that you can, it coming from a beer can and that Red Bull can behind you.
Okay.
No, I'm talking about the bug that keeps touching your hair.
It
It's
does.
because it's sugar. It's called a sugar bug. Like the cocaine bug.
Yeah, I appreciate you. I ain't know that.
I ate the plant, so and what gonna come to me if I ate the plant?
But believe it or
Everybody
not,
walking by,
this is how we are. This is the condition of our people. We're kings, but we act like this.
This is some of the stuff that happens when people.